I used to practice kissing with my arm because I was like, I don't know what it's gonna feel like. My first kiss was awkward when I was 14, about to turn 15. If you've seen the other two stories, it seems like a lot has happened in my life at the age of 14. And there was this program, an exchange program between this high school in the US. I was involved with the program, and this one year in particular, when I was in the 9th grade, they decided that the main part would be in Mumbai, but there would also be a part of it in Ahmedabad, which I was super excited about and be a part of this. And there were these two guys, AS2, and then there was this guy who we'll call Jay. So it was really fun to get to know them. I thought they were cute, but again, I wasn't on this trip to kiss people. I was on this trip to, be a part of this program. I got involved by helping them coordinate the India side of it. It was a service learning program. It was very intentionally done where you come to another place, you learn from NGOs, you learn from the environments, and you create a whole project on how you can apply that to your own environments or your own backyard. We were there for a week, and a lot of the students there were a little bit older than I was, and I made quick friends with a lot of them. And with AS2, there was these hilarious incidents that would happen. So I had started to like AS2 a little bit during this trip. You can imagine with all these people, including with AS2, we were enjoying ourselves, becoming friends, etc. I got to know them pretty well, and I had a great time. We got back to Mumbai, and there were a couple other things that we were doing as a part of the program. One of the teachers had a relative here, so at their home there was a party, and all the adults were in one room and all the kids were in some other room or some other flat. People were making it, people would be like, oh, AS2, the whole like, what's going on kind of situation. And we started dancing the songs. I remember specifically we were dancing to this song called Teach Me How to Dance. Some of my classmates were there, including my 7th grade boyfriend. If you've seen the first date video before this, you will know exactly who I'm talking about. And then I have to leave because it's past my curfew. I say bye to everybody, I give everyone a hug, and I give AS2 a hug too. And that hug goes on a little bit too long, like it's just like, and then it's a little too long, and then we look at each other and we're like, bye. I leave the apartment building. This was on the first floor. I come down to the ground floor and no one else is there. It's like late at night, 10:30, which at that time was very late for me. And I hear someone running down the stairs, and it's AS2. He looks at me and he's like, it was so amazing to meet you. And I said, likewise. He's like, you're like one of the most incredible people I've met. And we hug again. And again, these whole past few weeks, we'd been flirting a little bit. We'd had all of these moments with washing the dishes together. We played garba together and danced together. And we'd gotten to know each other pretty well. He was a little bit older. He was 16. He had a sister who was a little younger than me, so we got along. We were recounting all the experiences and everything. Back to that moment where we're standing, it's night, there's nobody else around, and he's like, would it be okay if I kiss you? Firstly, thanks for asking for consent. And secondly, I was actually okay with it, and I was like, sure. Except I thought that he meant on my cheek, but he meant on my lips. So it was like a situation because I was like, sure. I went like this and he's like trying to reach for my... It was very funny. But it ended up being like a 1-second peck. It was no big, thing. It felt really nice. I remember telling my friends later on, I felt warm. Like my whole body felt warm in a good way. I felt the butterflies, and I've never felt this warmth before, but it was really nice. But then I hear footsteps, so we're like, oh, okay. Down runs my 7th grade boyfriend because he was actually going to drop me home. So I say bye to this guy, to AS2, and then he goes back and leaves. And then I get into the car with this other guy. I sit in the car and he's like, oh, so how was the rest of your night? I saw you left early. Did anything happen? And I'm not about to tell the person who, whose heart I broke, which if you see the video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, that I just had my first kiss. So I was like, yeah, nice people. I liked them, and then we just, he dropped me home and that was that. This wasn't the end of our romance or whatever you want to call it. He and I decided to stay in touch, but at the time, WhatsApp wasn't a thing, so it was hard to stay in touch internationally without going into having to pay or like Skype and all of these things. So I gave him my email, but this is what I did. I was very extra, and I'm so sorry that I was so extra with you and I put you through this. So my phone, I had my Gmail, and I also had a Yahoo account. I would email him from my Gmail, from my phone, but I would tell him to read that email and respond to my Yahoo account. Because in case my parents checked my phone, they would most likely check my inbox, not not my outbox. So if they saw anything, they wouldn't see any incoming mail. So I would send him from my Gmail. He would respond to my Yahoo. I would read the Yahoo, respond from my Gmail. So we did this whole situation for a few months, actually. If you've seen the first love story, I know I'm referring to it a lot, but the situation on the terrace at my 15th surprise party, I was emailing this guy while this whole other situation with the teddy bear was going on. I emailed him for a bit and it was all great. And then a few months later, actually in the summer, I went to visit that school's campus. I actually had applied to that school later on, in a couple years later, so I met him. It was very interesting. He showed me around campus, and all of the people who were on that trip knew, so they were like, oh, they're hanging out again. But nothing ever happened. I mean, long distance, dusre desh mein, it's always such a special memory for me because it was with someone I enjoyed. I don't think, for me, my first kiss was not, it has to be like this magical thing. It was just a first kiss. I thought I might have my first kiss at 18 or something, but I was 14. You know what they show you in movies? When someone has a first kiss, everything slows down and it's like moving in, and they know exactly how their lips should go and how their head should turn. And I'm like, but also your nose comes in the way, you know? Okay, this is gonna sound really embarrassing, but please tell me I'm not alone. I used to practice kissing with my arm because I was like, I don't know what it's gonna feel like, and this is the softest part of my body, so maybe this feels like someone's lips. It's so normal for first kisses to be awkward. I have a friend who, I say the nose because literally she and this guy just bumped noses really hard instead of like kissing. So what I wish I knew before my first kiss was that when someone says they want to kiss you, they usually mean your lips, not your cheek. I drank a lot of water before because I was thirsty. I think it would have been really weird if I hadn't, because then I would feel dehydrated. I didn't know it was gonna happen, so I wasn't as concerned, but my advice would be, if you think you're gonna have your first kiss or whatever, please make sure your breath smells nice, because that is important, you know? So mince long, like cloves, is actually like a good mouth freshener, and it's good for your throat as well. Or just mint ke patte in pani, or just like dehydrated, and your body should also smell decent, so deodorant and mouthwash, I think, are good things. If you are attempting to kiss someone, I know it feels like it's a mood killer, but I remember the fact that he asked if he could kiss me. It's so important to ask for consent in life, and it doesn't have to feel like it's this burden, and it often makes the moment more sweet or romantic or sexy or whatever it is on the spectrum of physicality. Please tell us about your first kiss story in the comments below if you feel comfortable doing that and if they were as awkward as mine. And don't forget to check out my first date story that we posted before this, and since I've referred to it so much, the first love story that was even before that. And stay tuned for me talking about my first time having sex very soon.